guys, hey, welcome back to another Speed Duel deck profile. Hey, today we're looking at a Skull Servant. This is a deck that's always, I think this is, how long was that at the beginning, or was that like the second set of Speed Duel? Now that I think about it, it was like, I'm pretty sure it was like the second set with Bones. It was a deck I've just been real lazy about getting around to, but hey, now I finally have a, now that King of Skulls Tournament was reprinted, like the OTS pack, 6 or 7, right? 6. Right, I finally have King of Skull Servants to play, because before it was randomly expensive, because the only printing that exists of King of Skull was a super rare and an ultra rare, I believe, and that ultra rare is now like $100, because that's like that is technically the highest printing of King of the Skull Servant. So if you guys don't know what King of the Skull Servant, it gains 1,000 attack for every copy of itself and Skull Servant in the graveyard. And then when this is destroyed by battle, you can banish another copy to summon it back. So this is a card that can potentially go up to 6,000 attack. Most of the time it's just going up to 3,000 attack. If anything, I feel like going to anything more than that is extremely excessive. So there is a dedicated skill for this. It's one where you send a level 3 or lower zombie. I think that skill is absolutely terrible and it does nothing. You're just milling your deck for 1 card every turn, and I feel like that's extremely bad. So we're playing virus infection instead to justify the Skull Servant, right? Because that way you can get rid of dead cards in your hand while also getting rid of your opponent's good cards, right? So let's get to the deck. So like I said, 3 King, best card of the deck. That's the whole point of this deck. And then 3 Skull Servant is your skeleton, is your little skeleton man, you know, right? That's all you need to know about it, right? This thing does absolutely nothing. So there you go. And that's the thing, right? This card, it's really bad. So like I said, because a lot of the zombie monster, and then oh yeah, the other monster is 3. Oh, that's a spell card. That should not be there. Yeah, you guys don't need to see that card. 3 Goblin Zombie. When this card inflicts battle damage, your opponent knows the top card. That's extremely rare. You don't care about that. Is that when this card is destroyed by battle, you add a zombie monster with 1,200 or less defense from your deck type, which in this case it's all of itself. So it can add itself, right? Yeah, it can randomly add itself. So I don't know why they decide. So this is how you get King of the Skull Servant to your hand. So you play a bunch of weak zombies, and the reason we justify that is by playing triple creature swap. Is to give your opponent, something like the Skull Servant, or you give them the King or the Skull or the Goblin Zombie. Then you just swing over it like, oh hey, thanks. So you take their good monster, right, and then you just try to gain advantage off of that. Right, if for some reason you draw the Skull Servant, right, you only ever do this if you draw Skull Servant or the Goblin Zombie, right? Otherwise, most of the time you're just using Viral Infection to get them to the grave faster. Next we play Double Allure, because you play 9 Dark Monster. It's also really bad if you banish your Skull Servants with the Allure. Most of the time you kind of want to banish your Goblin Zombie off of it instead, right? Next is triple Galaxy Cyclone and triple Paleozo Canadia. This blows up a back row card and then banishes from the graveyard to blow up a face-up spell trap. This is just a Book of Moon, and then from the graveyard, you activate a trap, you can reborn itself. I decided to please that I want cards that have utility uses as discard off of Viral Infection, right? Because I don't want to be discarding good cards. I want to discard that, if I discard, at least they serve something. So discarding these cards aren't bad, right? Even though they're good card, but you could just, if you go first, you can just discard these to get your, and then you just have their engraved and they can do stuff later for you, right? 3 Haunted Shrines. So this thing has 2 effects. The first one is you reborn it to summon a zombie. If you control no monster, target 1 zombie monster in your graveyard and special summon it, right? If you control no monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 zombie monster, special summon it, but negate its effect. So this is pretty much you just reborn back the King of the Skull Servant most of the time, right? Or in graveyard, you banish it to bring back a Goblin Zombie to you as a defensive wall for the turn. But yeah, like I said, this also another Viral Infection target for you to discard to set up in grave, right? Because most of the time you're just summoning off of Goblin Zombie off of this just to gain more cards, right? To get to your Skull Servant faster. So then finally the last card we play is 1 Offerings to the Doom. Your limit 1 does not matter for this deck, obviously. You can play whatever you want as your limit 1. I don't really care. Zoma, Nightmare Wheel, Floodgate. Pick whatever limit 1 you can find, right? Like I said, the limit 1 does not matter, right? Because like I said, you're summoning a Skull Servant and you're just swinging 3,000. Most of the time you're just trying to swing with a 3,000 big scary skeleton man every single turn. Alright, and then for the X arrow is a bunch of Awakening Dragon targets when you don't play Awakening Dragon. So Dragoon, Samarin, Ojama King, Stealth Viacon Union, Jumbo Droroid, and Master of All. None of these cards matter. They're just they're cards to make your opponent think you have real extra deck cards, you know. Right? Alright, that's the deck. I think this is like probably the best variant. I think Viral Infection is like the best way to play it. I really wish there was more Skull Servant name in the format, right? Like Lady in White is not in this game. White Prince is not in this game. I think there's a new White monster that came out recently. That guy's White Lord. That guy's not in the game, right? So most of the time, this Skull Servant is just straight up 3,000, right? There was another white card in this format. I think Skull Servant will be way more threatening, and that way, White. Viral Infection would be way better because that way you can start pitching your Skull Servant names, you know. But alright, yeah, that's the deck. I think this like is fun. You summon a big scary skeleton man, you know. Right? Alright, that's the deck. Thanks for watching like always. If there's a deck you guys want to see, comment down below. I'll try to get to it eventually. I got a bunch of these lined up. Thanks for watching. Okay, thanks, bye.